Do you want to hear something absolutely wild and part of the reason why Canada's a bit of a meme when it comes to the weather? Well, I am Canadian, obviously, and where I'm at currently, it is 37 degrees Celsius with a humidity of at least like 60%. I didn't check the exact numbers, right? So it is hot. We're all cooking, right? The sun's out, you know, all that sort of good stuff. But yet we still have snow forecasted for the end of the week, which is just absolutely insane. But that being said, today is going to be a pretty action-packed video because we are on day 2 of the new hard mode faction crypts that have just come out, and I think that without a doubt this is probably the best update that we've had to raid in quite some time. So far, at least, right? So I'm doing a series where I'm going to be going through and playing through this with you guys in real time and showcasing the teams that I'm going to be using to beat this content, and basically just letting you know ways that you guys can beat it as well, right? So I think this will be quite useful content for you guys to consume, essentially. Now, if you're not familiar, if you were born under a rock, we do have the mythical Polara Fireheart that we can work our way towards. She looks like an absolutely badass champion, right? Absolutely love the look, both in the base form as well as the alternate form. But I will say, and maybe I'm wrong on this, let me know down in the comments if I am, of course, but I think she's a little bit overrated. We haven't played with her yet. We don't know, you know, what the kit's going to be like or anything like that. We haven't had the champion showcases come out, nothing like that. So, you know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn here. We'll see. I haven't made up my mind on her quite yet. Now, before we talk about today's factions, which are Demonspawn and Undead Hordes, we had Banner Lords as well as the Shadowkin go live first. So with the Shadowkin, it was to place 10 stun debuffs, 10 provokes, then 10 HP burns, in that order for stages 1 through 3. Then we also had Banner Lords, which was reduce 6+ enemies HP by 50% with one skill. This is a bit weird. It's not destroying max HP. It just means, hey, you need to hit them for at least 50% of their HP. Place 10 provokes and place 10 stuns. So let's go ahead real quick. I'm going to talk you through how I did that for the Shadowkin factions. I didn't get footage of it, unfortunately, because it was very late at night. I didn't have a chance to record it. I'll tell you how I did it, and this will help you out, hopefully. So I used Lady Mikage in all of the runs. She brought all of the stuns that I needed, essentially. Now, it is worth noting that inside the hard mode stage 3 for the faction wars, I did actually miss the HP burn requirement because my ninja killed the enemy instead of placing the burn on him. So, you know, it is what it is, but I still got the 2 stars on it. So Lady Mikage was in all the teams. Harima was in all of the teams, so she helped to bring for the provokes. And then we also had Ninja in all of the teams. If you're just needing burns to be placed, Yoshi and Mishinaki are also great options. With them, I ran Oboro, and then I also ran Hotatsu. So obviously, if you're needing provokes that you're needing assistance with, right, you can run Taragi. For the provokes, I actually kind of forget where they came from. Oh, yes, right. So it was Harima. Harima's A3. That's where the provokes came from. Slipped my mind there. Don't mind me. And then for the Banner Lords, I actually brought somebody out of the vault here, which is Sigmund. So Sigmund was my hard carry for being able to place provokes. This guy did absolutely fantastic with it. When it came to placing the stuns, I used Archmage Helmet. And then I actually combined him with Rowan. So Rowan helped out a lot on her A2, where she has the 3 times hitter at random. She's also Void Affinity, which means that it doesn't matter which wave you're on. She's going to help out a lot there. And then I had Marichka plus Taurus, and it was basically just an easy clear from there. So that's how I did those factions. Now, this is going to be an ongoing series, so make sure you hop into the Discord because I'll be sharing the videos there every time I post on my YouTube channel. Also, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want YouTube to notify you when I upload and all those sorts of good things. Let's go ahead and hop into Stage 1 Hard Mode Demonspawn and see what we're working with. So the requirement here is to place 10 plus HP burn debuffs. Now, let's go ahead and take a look here because I do have full gear on Magnar. Okay, that's perfect. I don't think we're going to need Padma, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of her. Now, we do have Drexthar who can place the HP burns, obviously, so it's just going to depend on, you know, how well that procs, essentially. What I think we'll do here, actually, is we'll try it with a Skimfos in here. Just because Skimfos has the ability to reduce turn meter and whatnot, so we can kind of spot reduce it as we need, which will be very, very nice. And we'll see if this team is able to do it. Now, we are able to back out if we don't get it, essentially. What's cool as well is if you hit pause, you can't really see it because my large head is in the way, but if you hit pause, it actually tracks in real time the progress that you've made towards these missions. So we're at 0 out of 10 on the HP burns currently. We're going to go ahead, AoE True Fear as well as block buffs, which gets resisted there, unfortunately. AoE decrease attack. We're going to get the reflect damage up as well. We're going to go ahead and try to provoke here, I think. The provoke is probably going to be our best bet for placing the burns. We landed 1 provoke. That's pretty cool. We're going to go ahead and try that again, shall we? We have Magnar coming in, doing some damage, placing the decreased defense there. We do get the HP burn on the... is that Basilius Roanus, I think is his name? We're going to go ahead and steal the turn meter from Alika or Sakara, I forget which one that is. Decrease the turn meter there. We're going to get the HP burns out on Sanguinia here, hopefully. Try to get a stun on Kaja. Kaja, I'm realizing, is actually a pretty crazy support champion. Like, she does a lot for your team. I don't have her, unfortunately. Apparently, we now got locked out, but we did get another burn placed there, which is quite nice. And another burn placed on the Kaja as well. So if we go ahead and pause, we're already at 4 of the burns. We'll go ahead and try to stun the Shaman there, which we did, which is perfect. So let's go ahead, try to steal some turn meter off that Kaja. We get the decreased speed on her as well. Now, we are getting a little bit low on HP here. We're going to go ahead and get the burn placed on the Shaman as well. This will be nice because now anytime that they take a turn, we're essentially just going to be able to start ticking away their HP with the burns, which is quite nice. Now we have the reflect damage as well as a continuous heal up. We'll get those True Fears, block buffs once again. Again, go in there, try to steal some turn meter off the Kaja. We do get some big heals coming in here as well. Sanguini is pretty crazy for the heals. We're going to get Drexthar reset and hopefully provoking here again as well. Now, a couple of them don't actually have any burns on them currently, so we could very easily get more burns on them essentially, which would be pretty handy if we're able to do so. And then hopefully get through the requirement by the time we even get to like stage, 2 or stage 3, which will make this a lot easier. Round 2, round 3, I guess. Now, Sanguini is actually a very solid support champion if you're struggling for, who to run on your team, essentially. She can do some good things. I think this team is pretty accessible as well because obviously Drexthar is available over time with fragments from the live or the tag team arena. We're at 7 out of 10 on the placements. We're all doing perfectly fine on health. We have some hard CC on them. So we're going to go ahead and just keep kind of slamming into them here and see what we can do. I don't know what round 2 is going to be for this particular stage, so that's kind of exciting to see. And then let me know if you guys prefer like a real-time talk through on this in terms of what I'm doing, or if you just prefer me to like shut up and show the teams at the end. I have a feeling most people are probably going to prefer like a real-time talk through because that makes the most sense in my opinion, but we're going to try and get a provoke here. We do get a couple provokes, which is quite nice. We're going to go ahead and do a boost and reset on Drex. We're going to go ahead and try to slam into probably the arrow here, which is perfect. We do get some damage on him. We get the HP burn placed there, HP burn there, and we should be now... We're perfect. We're good. We're good to go on the burns. So now we can just focus on fully CCing everybody as well as just getting through these waves nice and quick. So let's try to get the stun on Astralon, which we do, which is absolutely perfect. He used to be one of my most wanted champions, actually, because, well, of his wings. His wings look absolutely badass, but I don't have him, and I'm not exactly hurting for him, I wouldn't say. Now, if you don't have Drexthar, because, you just may not, a few other good options would, of course, be Akoth the Seared from the Doom Tower champion pool. That being said, if you've pushed far enough in the Doom Tower to actually have Akoth, I imagine that, you'll probably have Drexthar at that point. Another great option is going to be Sissia. So Sissia just has the straight up AoE HP burns, and then she also obviously has the ability to detonate them as well, which is huge. So Sissia, if you happen to have her, is big for this. Let's go ahead. Let's just keep cycling through here. We're going to keep the burns up on them. Steal the turn meter from the Astralon. This might take a while, ladies and gentlemen, but at the end of the day, this is essentially just a manual, one time to get through it type deal, so I'm perfectly okay with it taking a little bit longer than necessary, because once you get the 3 stars, you can easily auto-farm this, right? But I just want to make sure that my time and your time are both not wasted by them messing this up, essentially. So we're kind of at the point now where I think we can just A1 for the most part and start to take her down there so that we have all our cooldowns available for the next round. Obviously, having the Lammasu in here, the Tiramisu in here, helps a ton as well because she's bringing the AoE block buffs, True Fears, as well as the reset and turn meter boost and everything like that for my team as well, wherever I might need it, right? So, for example, if we're getting battered up, if somebody dies, something like that, I can easily boost the turn meter of, like, my Dur the Hungerer, and then, you know, revive, which would be quite nice. So, AoE True Fear here, we're going to get the AoE decrease attack. We're going to get the defensive buffs up, and then we're also going to go ahead and try to get the Provoke, which we land on one of them, unfortunately. We're going to boost and reset, try that again. Magnar is going to come in here and absolutely slam. Almost everybody procced the fears there, which is huge. Now, we do have the AoE here. The only thing to be aware of, obviously, is the Freya passives granting the instant turn, which we did proc there, so we no longer have to worry about her passive. We're going to try and steal some turn meter off the cardio, which didn't happen, so we're just going to try and take him out, which also didn't happen. We do also get decreased turn meter placing on Lamasu's A2, which is very, very strong, obviously. So, and then if you have her with the Evil Eye Mastery on her A1, she can do some good turn meter decrease as well. So, very, very strong champion. I still think she's massively underrated. People have kind of, you know, gotten wise to how good she is, but I still think that the community massively underrates her and her capabilities. She is such a good champion. We're going to steal the turn meter here from the Freya and then finish her off. So that's going to be the nice, easy, quick 3-star there. We're going on to Stage 2. Stage 2 is to place 10 plus Provoke debuffs. So if you're trying to place Provokes inside this faction, there's not going to be a whole lot of people that are able to do it. So if we go ahead and take a look at debuffs here, for Provokers, you're looking, obviously, if you have Umbral Enchantress, she's going to be an absolute carry for this, right? So if we go in here and take a look, I don't even know if mine's built. She is built, so we could easily bring her in. We have Drexar, who can also place those Provokes, and in fact, I think we might bring Umbral instead of Drex, just to make this a little bit more consistent. And then the last option that I have, at least, is going to be Tarshan, who has the Provoke on his A1 with a 35% chance to land. So, obviously, if you're depending on that, you might as well just give up. Your better option, in all honesty, my Drexar did that without a weapon, by the way. But if you're bringing Tarshan, you might almost just be better off bringing him in a Provoke set or bringing one of your AoE champions inside a Provoke set, right? So, for a good chance for it to land. Let's go ahead, though. Let's see if we can get this placed. Now, a little kind of cheat for you guys, too. If you didn't know, Umbral can actually avoid the block active skills that she gets when you place the AoE Provoke. And essentially how that works is when you place the Provoke, you just need to make sure that she's in a stone skin set before she places it, because then that's going to ensure that she has essentially like the equivalent of a block debuffs, right? So the one kind of sketchy thing here is obviously the HP. She's not incredibly tanky, and since she has Provoke, we are guaranteeing that everybody's hitting her, essentially. So if we start to get some of those like hard-hitting A1s coming in, it could certainly hurt us, but I think we're kind of just hoping for, you know, the fears to proc and whatnot. So she is quite slow as well, but I mean, realistically, Lammasu can help us cycle through those turns so effectively that I don't think we really need to worry about that. We just have 2 champions left here on this stage. This Orc champion, I don't even know what their name is, but they look pretty cool in all honesty. We're gonna get through here. We're gonna place the heals as well as the reflect damage on Umbral there. We're also gonna steal the turn meter. There's like such a god-awful amount of champions coming into the game now that I've noticed that even on these stages, there's a decent amount of them that I just don't even know. Because, like, for me at least, I work, I have a job, I have a life outside Raid. So when we have, like, 10 plus champions releasing per month, it kind of just gets to the point where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll just look at these guys if I get them. How about that? We're almost dead, by the way, which is pretty terrifying. So let's go ahead and place a True Fear. We're going to take out this champion. She's doing some crazy damage to us. Also doing some crazy things when it comes to making sure she doesn't die, which is very annoying because I want to progress through to the next stage. Now, in case you couldn't tell, my champions are not exactly min-maxed when it comes to damage or anything like that. So Obviously, if you have the ability to move gear around, or if you have better gear on your champions, you're going to have a lot better time doing this. So just something to keep in mind. We do get the True Fear on him proccing there, which is nice. Umbral has fully cycled through her 5 turns of block active skills, by the way, so definitely taken a while to get through this, but here we go. AoEs again, you guys already know what's up. We're going to get the AoE decrease attack as well. War Chief does not reflect damage anymore after the most recent update, so that is pretty swanky. We got the AoE provokes there. We're going to hit with Magnar, take everybody down a little bit. I think now we'll go ahead and reset Umbral. Just that way she's ready for Wave 3. And we should be good to go. We're going to go ahead and turn meter steal from the Zargala and kill her as well, apparently, which is pretty fantastic. We're going to keep hitting into War Chief here. Yeah, we'll just keep hitting into them. They're all provoked. We'll hit Slixus just so that he doesn't do crazy damage to my team or anything like that. We'll try to take out this champion here. Boom. Decent amount of damage on her. A stun would be nice. There we go. So, you know, building Dur with a bit of accuracy as well can certainly help out. Like, he's actually a pretty good support. And if you don't have some of, like, the ridiculously good supports like a Duchess or something like that, he can certainly help out because he has a 30% chance of placing a stun on the A1, plus a revive of, like, 2 allies or something like that, plus a AoE continuous heal as well as reflect damage. So he's actually got a pretty solid kit on him. We're going to go ahead and steal the turn meter there with Skimfos. We're essentially just trying to cycle through our turns here on War Chief and slam him down as quick as possible. No stuns coming in. We do get him taken down, though. So now we're on to the final wave, where we have Ugo, which is going to be a bit more annoying, and we do have Krisk as well, which means that we do have to be careful of those decreased defenses coming in on our team. We're going to get the AoEs up here, though. We're going to get the provokes in as well. Should make us a lot more survivable. I think we'll just go ahead and do an AoE slam here, which doesn't do a lot, to be honest. Magnar, obviously being an HP-based champion, means that he doesn't have to worry so much about like the damage that you might get coming in from somebody like being nerfed by the damage from a Krisk is what I wanted to say there. So obviously Krisk places the decreased defense, decrease attack, but Magnar doesn't really worry about that because he's HP based. We are doing pitiful damage here, though. These Slixus are a bit concerning as well. Hopefully we're able to get this, actually. We are looking pretty poor. We're going to get the fears as well as the block buffs still. Let's try for some stunnage here. Don't get it. Our Umbral is taking an absolute beating, which is unfortunate. We're going to go ahead and just do the slam on probably this Slixus here. Just make sure that he can't get damage on us. We're going to get some heals coming in on the Umbral there too, which is going to be so important. Decrease attack, AoE. We do need to make sure essentially that Ugo goes down before the rest of these other guys, because if she doesn't, she's going to go ahead and do a revive as well, which would be annoying. Now we're looking to be in a pretty good spot. We got a stun on her. I'm going to get turn meter steal here. And since she's stunned, we don't need to worry so much about if she goes down first or not, but let's just go ahead and keep progressing through here. Boom. We'll hit into the Ugo. We get, like, no damage. We get the provoke on the Umbral, which is ironic, to say the least. We'll go ahead and just keep slamming in here. We'll get some heals up just in case. Reset the Magnar. Boom, boom. We take down the Krisk, which is nice. We'll steal her turn meter, even though she has, like, none of it. We'll get that decreased speed as well as the block buffs. And we should be just about done here. There we go. Skimfos finishes it off for us. Now, I did take a look at this a little bit. Now, Wave 3, Stage 3 is extremely difficult in my opinion because you have to place 20 plus poison debuffs. And out of every single champion that I have inside the Demonspawn, there is exactly one that is capable of placing poison. And that is Urticata. And it's not even a place, it's just on her passive. So whenever she or an ally lands a critical hit on an enemy under a hex, there's a 25% chance of placing a poison, which isn't a bad place chance, don't get me wrong, but And I mean, she brings the Hex, but it is on a random attack. So we're going to try something a little bit different. What we're going to do here, actually, is we're going to bring ourselves an Infernal Baroness, who has an AoE A1 with a heal, AoE decrease attack A2 with a heal, or not a heal, sorry, but just, you know, and then a perfect veil for 3 turns, and she's going to be replacing Umbral. And the reason for this is I actually have my Infernal Baroness built out inside of a Toxic set. So if you're unfamiliar, Toxic has a 75% chance of placing the small version of a poison, so a 2.5 times per percent poison. So there you go. You can see that we got poisons on 4 out of 5 of the enemies, which is very, very nice. So already we have 4 out of 20 poisons placed, which is pretty crazy. We're going to go ahead and reset Skimfos here and steal the turn meter from the Elva, because I don't want her going and giving them block debuffs, which would be very annoying. Everybody took a turn there, which is pretty insane. The cool thing about this too is, yes, we do have to place a lot of poisons, but they can actually stack multiple times. So we're already at 7 out of 20. I'm in like the most inconvenient spot for this, but whatever. Because obviously you can have 10 debuffs on them. That is annoying where she gets the block debuffs off, so we may actually have to restart here, especially if we start getting clapped, which we do, unfortunately. We may also switch the team up a little bit because my Magnar isn't built incredibly well. I was thinking about bringing in my Helicath, but he's not built incredibly well either. So what other options do we have? Well, we have Fellhound, who is also not built. We do have Allure, who's going to bring a crap ton of turn meter control, which could be very strong, as well as a sleep. So I think maybe we'll try her. Although I don't even know who to substitute out, in all honesty. We could also bring Drex for his, like, you know, burns and poisons and whatnot. I think we'll just try this again, though. I think if we just focus more on controlling the Elva, we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and steal the turn meter from the Elva. Make sure she doesn't get to go. Get that AoE. We got some poisons placed. We got 3 of them this time, which is nice. We'll get a slam here in on the Ruella. Now, Ruella is an insanely strong champion as well, so you do have to be careful about her. We obviously have the True Fears placed, so it'd be nice if those procced. We got all the buffs that they tried to put up that are being blocked there. We'll go ahead, get that AoE with the poison again. We do get the Fear proccing on the Elva there as well, which is super strong. Steal the turn meter from the Ruella. That Ruella is going to be sitting down now. Unfortunately, we do have Skimfos taking some hits here, so we're going to keep hitting into the Elva, keep stealing that turn meter. It's obviously going to help him cycle turns a little bit quicker, but then it's also going to help us just stop her from taking a turn, which will be very strong, obviously, right? So he is also veiled, which thankfully means that he can't be targeted now. I really need that True Fear to proc. It doesn't, of course. We do have very good survivability on the Infernal, which is nice, and then obviously she does bring some heals and whatnot there as well. I think we'll go ahead and do a reset on Magnar. Get the AoE decrease attack there. We'll get the AoE smack coming in from Magnar. We do take out the Ruella once again, which is very nice. We'll get the AoE. You already know what's up. Lamasu is going to be super crucial here. Get another AoE there. Some poisons activated. We're at 10 poisons already on wave 1, which is quite nice. I think this is probably, without a question, the best way to get through this, right, is just using the Toxic set, because it's almost like using a stun set strategy, except obviously a way better proc rate. So stun set is what, like an 18% chance to place, whereas this poison is a 75% chance to place. So it's an actually, you know, somewhat consistent placement rate, which is very strong. And 20 poisons, all things considered, is not that much to have to place anyways, especially when you have 5 enemies per level. And then Infernal Baroness just brings so many other things to the team, right? So she's bringing, obviously, the Veil. You've seen how useful that was to try and keep our Skimfos alive. This is annoying, though, so the Elva did, in fact, get her turn off, and they now have the block buffs, or block debuffs, rather. We're going to get that AoE smack again, see if we can take them out. We do take out the Ruella, which is nice. We get the taunt coming in from the... oh, I forgot that guy's name. And he has the block debuffs on him too, which is just super annoying. A very annoying combination here, certainly. And of course, we don't have any way to remove the block buffs or anything like that either. We're going to go ahead and just do the A1 here because we do have Ruella who can potentially get poisoned. We get a continuous heal coming in on him, which is annoying. We do get to decrease attack onto the Ruella though, which is nice, but it gets cleansed off. My goodness, this is insanely annoying. His counterattacks are annoying as hell as well. And then we also got the increased resistance coming in. We also have Skimfos getting taken out. This may not be the run, ladies and gentlemen. I have no way to remove these buffs, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and just try again here. I think we'll go ahead, we'll end this. We'll come in, we'll try again, and we'll do kind of like a fire and ice type of deal here. So we'll bring our Drex in, and we'll have him do some good stuff. So Drex, you can come in. Let's do a weapon here. Substats, I want speed, crit rate, and accuracy. That'll be perfect. So we have plenty enough accuracy on him. I just want to make sure we got a bit more crit rate as well. Excuse me. So he can really just bring in the provokes there if we get the Elva under the burn, which will help so much with making sure that they don't get a turn, right? So we're going to get the turn meter steal on the Elva here. Get the AoE decrease attack coming in from the Infernal. We get the provoke on the Elva, which is huge. We're going to go ahead and steal turn meter from the Oella, I think her name is. Go ahead and get that decrease attack out there again. Another AoE there. Place some poisons. 6 out of 20 so far. Now, obviously, if you have Lammasu and you don't have Infernal or something like that, you could also just, you know, place the poisons with Lammasu. It doesn't have to be Infernal Baroness. You could also, of course, bring in like a Nazana or something like that. I think she's a free daily login and she has an AoE inside her kit as well, so she could be very competent at placing the poisons. You can see Drexthar is a lot better at tanking those hits as opposed to Skimfos as well. And he's actually getting targeted now, I guess, because he has the lowest HP. So that is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and steal that turn meter from the Elva. She's getting ridiculously high there on the turn meter. Let's get a burn out here as well. Try and get that AoE decrease attack as well as some poisons potentially proccing there. Try to steal some more turn meter from the Elva. We'll get Skimfos with his reset. We'll get some heals coming in here as well as a reflect damage. We'll get another turn meter steal coming in on the Elva. She is getting ridiculously high on turn meter though, unfortunately. We'll keep placing up those True Fears though. This one's taken a while to get through, unfortunately. But this is part of the fun of Raid Shadow Legends. There's always an RNG factor to it, and you don't know if you're going to win it the first time or the second time or the third time. And I think it's important for, you know, me to show content like this as well, where I don't just beat it the first chance I get, because my account is not as crazy and cracked out as a lot of other accounts out there. So, you know, just having some reassurances for the other raid players and knowing that, you know, you're not alone with beating this tough content could be quite nice. Now, I swear to God, if Elva comes in here and gets the cleanse, that's going to be quite bad. So let's go ahead, try to boost up Drex so that he can hopefully cut in and get the provoke, which he does. Boom. We get the provokes across the board there again. Elva is down because of the HP burns. That is perfect. That is such a win. We're going to go ahead and steal turn meter from the Ruella here. You can see we just slowly got the poison stacking up kind of across the board there as well. We're already at 20 placed, so our poison mission is done. We can just focus on getting through these as soon as possible. We'll take down the Ruella here. Not quite. Gonna get her a little bit lower though. The HP burn should finish her off. There we go. Now, she's gonna be very annoying to deal with because of her constant like heals and whatnot. So we're gonna go ahead and try to TM control her here. TM is short for turn meter. By the way, if you didn't know, reminds me of that guy on TikTok where he's like talking about calcs, and he's like, "Oh, calc is short for calculator." Now I can show the builds and everything like this after as well. Duodin, I think is his name. We're going to go ahead and get the turn meter steal from him. Skimfos is such a good champion. He's able to steal the turn meter with his A3, which means that obviously he can just cycle turns like insanely quick, which is huge. You can see that we're already kind of just coming back around to his turn here soon. Let's go ahead and get that provoke, which we don't get, but that's okay. Go ahead and try to take her out. We do take her out. Now we're just going to make sure that we use our A1s and try to have our skills available for the next wave. So here we go. We have an Elva on this wave as well, which is incredibly annoying. We are going to go ahead and steal her turn meter. We are going to go ahead and do the AoE decrease attack as well as poisons. Try to get a stun here maybe on Ruella. Now I think Galkabar actually has a cleanse as well, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we kind of need to make sure that they don't take a turn. So we're going to keep pushing him back as well. We should... we have a lot of turn meter boosting happening here as well from those Ruellas, which is annoying. We're going to get the boost and the reset on the Drex so he can come in and do his provoke again, which is perfect. So Galkabar is provoked. Doesn't even matter anyways. He misses his turn due to the True Fear, but we didn't know that was going to happen for sure. So just had to make sure. We're going to keep getting those poisons out there as well. Now Ruella does get a turn, but she does get poisoned as well, which is pretty good. We're going to have Elva kind of controlled there as well. Hopefully these True Fears proc on the Galkabar and the Elva, because if they don't, we might be kind of cooked. They did proc on the Elva. And let's just go ahead and keep cycling here. Drex may be able to get around to placing another provoke as well, depending. We do get the stun on the Galkabar there, which is huge. Both Ruellas are getting burnt there too, which is perfect. They're going to be ticking up a bunch more damage for the rest of their team. We're going to place the Reflect and the heals, and then we're going to get the AoE provoke here again, hopefully. There we go, it does land. We're actually going to reset as well, just because we don't have any CC right now on the Galkabar. Going to get that provoke once again. Elva sits down, which is perfect. Now with what they have left, we should be able to take them out pretty easily. Galkabar sits down too. We're just going to go ahead and A1 in here. Just going to go ahead and A1 here. A1 here. Make sure we have our cooldowns available for the next wave, essentially. Try to get maybe a stun here, which we do. That's perfect. Even if they have CC, like a provoke or something like that, it's still nice to land the stun on them, because it's going to mean that, like, obviously whoever the provoker is, so in this case, for example, Drex is just not going to take that damage, right? So it's always kind of a win. We're going to go ahead, steal turn meter from the Elva. Elva is like, case number one for who we need to make sure just does not get a turn. Get some TM reduction there on the Eostrid as well. Reset on the Drex. I would love if we're able to get a turn here and provoke, but it looks like Eostrid's going to get her boost off. Elva does get True Feared though, which is perfect. We're going to go ahead, just keep AoEing here. Going to try and get the provoke with the Drex, which we do. That's perfect. We're going to try to maybe stun here. We don't get it. That's unfortunate. Drex is very tanky though, so obviously that helps out a lot. The block buffs was huge there as well. Otherwise, the Eostrid would have been able to just put out, like, AoE increased speed and whatnot. So that would have been very annoying to deal with. The proc rates on Drex's A1 are not that good, to be honest. We're going to try and get the Elva CC'd here again, which is just not happening apparently. We're going to TM steal on this Ruella because she's getting, like, insanely close there. We're going to reset and cleanse on the Drex, get the AoE, boom, there we go, we get the provokes right where we need them. That's huge, that's huge. We keep the burns up on everybody as well. We got some heals coming in now. Yeah, Dur the Hungerer is so good, because not only does he place the continuous heal, but he also heals for a certain amount. He's such a good champion. If you're trying to get through this, I highly recommend checking him out. There we go, we finally got the burn there as well. The Elva is getting very close to taking a turn, though. So let's see if we can't CC her. Weak hits. Oh, she does get off the cleanse. That is annoying. I think we should still be able to do this, hopefully, but we'll have to wait and see. Best bet is probably just to keep targeting her. This is not going to be good, though, because now they might be able to get some more turn meter boost coming in from the Eostrid as well. At worst, I think this is just going to prolong the fight, because their cooldowns are so long since presumably they're not booked. We have the shields coming in now. We have the decreased speed on our team. Skimfos is getting whacked. Skimfos actually dies, so we're going to have to go ahead and res him there. Let's go ahead and boost and reset him as well. Try to get nothing on the Elva because they have block debuffs. The Eostrid's coming in as well. We're going to try and steal some TM there, which we do. Just getting some more AoEs here. Eostrid absolutely sits down our Skimfos, which is annoying. Drexthar might be up next on the chopping block as well. Oh man, this is so disappointing. You can see how much like the RNG just really affects these things, right? Like, it was going so well, and then just Elva missing that True Fear is all it took for it to go completely belly up. We'll try to get a Provoke there, which we don't, and Mr. Drex is almost dead as well, unfortunately. We do still have Dur, though, so we can revive, but they get the block debuffs up. So, I think I'm probably going to back out here. It is very RNG dependent. You can see, obviously, though, that my strategy of using the Toxic set was working. So I'm going to have to come through and essentially just try to manually do this at some point when I have a bit more time on my hands. For the time being, though, we're going to move on to the Undead Hordes. So for Undead Hordes, obviously most of us should have Fabian at this point, who is going to be fantastic for this. I don't really have any gear on my Seducer, so we're going to take him out. And we'll probably bring in just a little bit more damage, so maybe like a Husk could help out. Actually, sorry, nope. We need to bring in Nethril. The reason is we need to place poisons, and Nethril has poisons on his A1. So he does also have hard CC as well, which is perfect. Let's go here. He does have gear as well. He's just built out in some crappy destroy gear, so we'll see if we can get through this. Same kind of requirement where we have to place 20 poisons. This is going to be made a lot easier, though, by the introduction, obviously, of Fabian. Now, my headset is getting low, apparently, so bear with me. Just got to plug this in real quick. There we go. Now let's go ahead and increase everybody's attack. We're going to get the True Fear and the Leech on everybody as well. Now, with Nethril, we're just going to go ahead and do some A1s here and hope that we get some poisons to land, which he didn't land a single poison, so that's pretty fantastic right there. That's the good stuff. That's what we want to see. A Provoke from Seeker would be huge, but I doubt that's going to happen. Some TM Steel just coming in here is perfect, though, as well. We're going to keep trying with the Nethril. I don't know why I hit in on the one that he's weak to, but they were all good hits, which is good. Fabian is just going to make this so trivial, though, when it comes to like the CC side of things, at least, because every time somebody under a True Fear gets a turn, he's going to go ahead and activate his A2, which then obviously petrifies them, so that is so big. And not only that, obviously, we're going to go ahead and lock everybody out. And then the other thing, too, is he pairs very well with our other champion here, Mushaled, because Mushaled... These poisons are just not landing, apparently, by the way. That is insane. The poisons are just not landing. What we're going to do here is, I think we'll actually go ahead and do like a rebuild on him real quick. So he, like I say, he doesn't really have like much for gear anyways. So we're going to go ahead and go to Toxic, and we're just going to switch over the stuff that we were using on Infernal Baroness, because she had good survivability as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. We have the helmet, and then we have the chest plate there as well, which we're going to level up. I do have one of my free regear tokens popped right now. That's why everything's free. So he's going to get a little bit faster too. A little bit less accuracy, but it should still be enough to land. So now we can start using his AoEs, and he's going to have a better chance of doing this. And that being said, we may want to bring in some additional damage now, but I mean, it is what it is. We get everybody locked out there, which is perfect. We're going to go ahead and do his AoE. We're just going to go ahead and try to get some stuns. We get some poisons out there, which is perfect. We get poison on everybody, actually. I didn't even notice that. So we could probably almost do this stage on auto, but I mean, I'm just going to manual it anyways, because you never know, right? Like I say, I don't want to mess this up and then miss a star or something crazy like that. AoE here again. We're already at 10 poisons placed with 2 of his skills. And then obviously with his A1, he's going to have a very solid chance of placing the poisons as well. Let's see if we can get some poisons on the A1. We do get a poison there, and then we get a big poison coming in from his main ability as well. We get the increased cooldowns again. Get the petrifications out there. Increase attack. Keep just cycling through here. Hit into the shaman. I think that's her name, right? Skytouch Shaman? Yeah, so we're just going to smack in here, see if we can steal some turn meter. We do. Perfect. Heat pitting into the shaman. Take her out. Hit into the Kaja here as well. We're already at 12 poisons placed, so this should be easy peasy through the next couple of waves. Just need to hope essentially that our DPS is strong enough as well. We get another poison there placed too. You can really see just how strong the toxic set is going to be for these challenges, so it may be worth farming Ice Golem to make sure that you have a good set of it, because I know a lot of people won't, right? And if you don't have really solid poisoners, then you're just kind of SOL. Now, Eurost, I think, could also come in here if you have him, obviously, and do some DPS, but also more importantly, just do a crap ton of poisons there if you play your cards right. So we do get the lockout there on almost everybody except the Sanguinia. We're going to go ahead and try for the stun or decreased speeds here, which is perfect. Steal some TM from the Shaman. Increase turn meter, get some more fears placed out here. Mushaled would also be a very solid candidate for the toxic set, because obviously once you have the true fears placed out there, which both him or Fabian can do, he can then AoE A1. So same kind of thing as with the Infernal Baroness, is once you get those AoE A1s popping, they can just place so many poisons, right? So everybody should be locked out here as well, and everybody that's not locked out or might not be locked out does currently have a stun as well. So we're kind of cooking here, gentlemen. Now, we are going to go ahead and steal more turn meter here from the Shaman, get some more fears and all that sort of good stuff out. Just make sure they can't take any turns. The best crowd control is, of course, death, but a close second is a true fear plus turn meter reduction. So you know, it works pretty well. Now we're just going to pretty much A1 here. We just have the Sanguinia left, so she should be easy enough to take down. I just checked, you couldn't really see it, but we do have the 20 poisons placed already, of course, so we're going to get through that pretty easily. Just keep cycling through here. Nothing too crazy. And I think one of the most important things about this team composition is that or the team compositions that I'm showing, is that most players are going to have a decent amount of these champions. So I'm not showing you, like, you know, a Taurus Marichka and then pretending that you're silly for not having them, right? So that's a huge takeaway as well. Got the True Fears coming in. Everybody's locked out as well, so even if they do get a turn, there's not going to be much that they can do. Keep in mind, Freya is going to activate her instant turn effect on this fine young lad right here. We're going to get the turn meter drop on everybody there. Steal some more turn meter from this guy. I'm just trying to activate his instant turn effect as soon as possible. I'm going to lock everybody out again. There's the instant turn. And yeah, not much that we can do here. Or not much they can do, rather. We just have a lot of good CC. There we go. Now I think we'll start targeting probably the High Katoon. Not that I'm particularly worried about what she can do, of course, but, you know, just seems like a good place to go. She's a little bit squishier, so generally in fights like this, I like to take out the squishy champions first, because as you've seen in our Demonspawn, run through, the longer a fight goes on, the more RNG can just absolutely screw you. So the quicker you take out champions, whether or not they're tanky or big impact on the enemy team, the quicker you're going to have less RNG to contend with, right? So if there was an Elva on this team, for example, we'd definitely be trying to take her out first, but you know, if there's a super squishy champion with her as well, it might be worth trying to take her out there too. So it's just the Cardio left. We should be able to wipe him out here pretty quick. There we go. We have the 3 stars. On to the next stage. So land 40 plus hits on enemies while they're under leeches. So good news is ShadowLegends is going to be absolutely perfect for this as well. So we'll go ahead and pretty much just use the same team here. Obviously with a crap ton of leeches going out, it's going to help a lot. Husk could be good for some extra damage, which I think maybe we will actually switch him out because he has the max HP damage as well as stuns. And the Fabian is just so oppressive when it comes to actually controlling the waves that I don't think we need the extra CC from the ShadowLegends, so we'll do that. Now, Husk is certainly not built very well. This is crazy, by the way, because we already have 8 out of the 40 hits done because of 1 turn from ShadowLegends, which is insane. We have some okay damage from the Husk, nothing crazy there. I think we'll try and take out the Slixus first because he does hit pretty hard. Try to do some TM steal here as well. I do try to kind of like switch through the enemies essentially a lot of times with my skills and whatnot to just ensure that like everybody gets their turn essentially, so just make sure that nobody gets their turn. Right? As stupid as that sounds. So make sure that everybody gets their turn with my CC so that nobody gets their turn on the enemy team. So obviously, like if you're just hitting the Zargala with your turn meter depletion, then the other champions are going to start to get more turn meter as well, which could be problematic. So just something to consider there. And we already have the 40 hits done with the leech, which is pretty insane. So I think we'll go ahead and throw this on auto. We'll just kind of sit here and monitor. Once we get closer to the end of this wave, we'll go ahead and, you know, take it off auto so we can make sure that everybody has their abilities available for the next stage as well. ShadowLegends is so strong, though, because he's bringing damage, but he's also bringing, like, insane control as well as heal reductions and whatnot. So heal reductions can help out an absolute ton with some of these stages. We'll take it off auto here, actually. Make sure everybody has their skills back. Seeker does a decent amount of damage too because I have him built for my clan boss team, so he's just very slow with like high damage, and by slow I mean he's like 240, which when I made the team seemed incredibly fast, but you quickly realize that it's really not when it comes to Raid ShadowLegends. I think we already have accounts with like over 500 speed, but with these new haste glyphs that they've introduced, everybody's going to be getting some insane speeds like that, which is just crazy. Like, the power creep is insane, and I think Raid does have to be careful with that, because if you look at other gacha games, so for example like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact, they are kind of seemingly getting towards the end of their lifespan, mainly because people have realized that the power creep is just obtuse, and you know, there's only so many times you can dip into your wallet for the next best thing before you realize that the next month it's going to be outdone by another, you know, champion or hero or whatnot, right? Before that that starts to get old. But Raid have definitely done a decent job keeping the game alive so far, and I mean, obviously I'm a CC for, not an official CC, but I'm a content creator for the game, so I wish it all the best. Certainly I'm not sitting here you know, betting on its downfall or anything. But I think a lot of people probably expected the downfall to happen a few years ago as well, once they started doing like progressive events for like warlords and stuff like that, but little did we know it was just indications of, you know, bad things to come essentially when it comes to power creep. So we're getting through this pretty easily. We're gonna go ahead and petrify the Krisk there. I think we're just gonna go ahead and auto here. I think we should be okay. We're gonna target the Ugo just because I want to make sure that she goes down ASAP, because she's obviously got the decreased defense and block buffs and all that too, so if she gets a turn it can be quite problematic. Everybody else has had their turns decrease, or their cooldowns increased, so even if they get a turn it's not going to do a whole lot. And then Fabian's just coming in and being an absolute Chad and controlling the hell out of everybody. These Slixus, I did in the like a guide on Slixus as well, which I'd highly recommend checking out if you haven't seen it, because he's an absolute beast in his own right when it comes to like turn meter control and those sorts of things. So definitely recommend taking a look into that. We're going to go ahead and target Slixus actually, because the other two champions I'm not too worried about. They're not going to do too much crazy stuff, but if some RNG goes poorly and Slixus gets a turn, it could definitely spell trouble for us, so we want to make sure that doesn't happen. He's taken out. We'll target Krisk last. And there we go. It's just Krisk left. Cycling through this pretty quick. And by pretty quick, I mean like 4.5 minutes. But once we get through this the first time on manual, it's going to ensure that, you know, we can do it a lot faster in the future. I watched Nubraid's video on Faction Wars earlier, and just the speed at which he was able to clear it was, like, you know, shocking. But it is what it is. We have stun debuffs that need to be placed. So I think, honestly, this same team should be pretty easy, pretty good to go. Now, if you don't have a Husk, you could get a Scartorsus if you have a Scartorsus, because he has an AoE A1. So, you know, that could help out a lot. He also has a full cleanse and whatnot. So the AoE A1 with a stun set. Obviously, we have Nethril as well who can place those stuns, so that could be very strong. I think maybe actually we will bring Nethril just to bring in some additional control with his turn meter control and whatnot, because I did see that there was an Elva in here as well, so we want to make sure that she gets cooked. But Fabian's going to be so nice, although he does get a weak hit there on the Elva, which is quite annoying. But we have the True Fears. We have the heal reductions as well, which is nice, because obviously there's champions on this roster that place the like the continuous heals and whatnot. So that is annoying. Are you kidding me? Elva is such a good champion that it is annoying, because like a cleanse as well as a block debuffs as well as an increased speed and a revive on one champion, that's insane. The Fabian RNG there not locking her out was a bit of a shame. There we go. Now she's locked out. Screw you, Elva. We're going to get that AoE. We got like 4 stuns straight out the hop. So yeah, we're at 4 out of 10 already. Stun set is just your best friend here if you don't have Nethril. We're going to go ahead and target the Elva actually, just so that we can make sure all of our turn meter reduction and poisons and stuns and all that get thrown on her. And hopefully she gets taken down as quick as possible. We get the cooldowns increase there again. We're still getting the petrifications and the true fears and all that sort of good stuff out. Everybody's locked out at this point, so we can't steal turn meter from her, obviously, when she's under petrification, which is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. Get more poisons placed on her as well as a heal reduction. She is cooked. She's so annoying, though, my god. Definitely my biggest opposition so far inside the hard faction wars, I would say. We'll actually go ahead and try to take out the Ruella first, maybe. Just undermine a bit of their DPS. There we go. Nethril comes in with another stun there, it looked like. So, yeah, we're at 6 out of 10 now, which is quite nice. Once we get down to, like, the last 1 or 2 champions here, we'll go ahead and take it off auto just so that we can make sure that they have all their cooldowns available, which will be right now. So we're going to go ahead and smack in here. Smack in here. Just keep smacking them like so. Yeah, Fabian had his cooldowns like all the way at max, so it would have went very poorly if you know, he was allowed to do that. Seeker's very good for this too. He can take away some of the RNG for you, because anytime he's hit with a critical, it's going to ensure that you get an increased defense across your team, which is very, very strong. AoE, of course. Elva doesn't get locked out. Of course, we also miss the CC on her, which is fantastic. Thankfully, we have Mushaled, though, who's going to guarantee that we at least get a True Fear on her, and hopefully that does something. We'll get some turn meter throwback here as well. Maybe get a Provoke, which we don't get, unfortunately. Just keep slamming in some poisons on her. Keep slamming in with whatever we can here. Some more turn meter pushback. The rest of them I'm not too worried about, because they already had their turn meters, or their skills placed on cooldown, so I'm worried about the Elva, though, because again, we don't want her to take a turn. Again, we miss. Oh my god. Okay. There we go. The Elva gets taken out. We now have the 10 provokes, or the 10 stuns placed, rather. So there we go. We're cruising. We're just going to go ahead and do some auto here until we get down to the last couple of champions. Now, if I recall correctly, we do have an Elva on wave 3 as well. This is just a casual 1 hour long video, by the way, so if you're still here, thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is insane, though. It is very hot in my room as well. I have, like, nice little beads of sweat dripping down my back right now. I figured you might want to know that. I don't know why, but, you know, it is what it is. Luckily, I have the day off from work tomorrow, so that's nice. Let's see. The work comment wasn't, like, just random, by the way. It's going to be nice to have the time off, because, you know, how hot it is. I'd rather just kind of chill out next to the AC instead of working, because I do work from home, which is quite nice, but... and we're just going to keep slamming into him here. Hopefully wave 3 goes smoothly with the CC, because we have a lot of potential. There we go. Screw you, Elva. Everybody's got the stuns, or not everybody's got the stuns, but the stuns have been placed as much as we need. I'm very tired, okay? Don't judge me. And we're just going to go ahead and clam slam in here and see what we can get done. Turn meter control from Fabian coming in. We got some big hits coming in from Mushelette across the board. More cooldown increasing happening as well as a petrification. We are doing quite well here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to let me know down in the comments, though, what you guys think about the mythical, of course. And again, if you think, you know, she's good or if she's not so good, I'd be very interested to hear about it. For future reference for myself, perhaps... Oh, you can't even really see the cup. That's funny. It gets green screened out. It just looks like I'm holding nothing. I'm just holding up my hand, very weird. But I had oat milk, which apparently makes me very, like, hiccupy, so that might have been a mistake right before recording. After this finishes, I will go ahead and show you the builds as well, because I'm sure some people are going to be curious about what sort of gear I got on these champions. 5-minute run to get through this stage. You know, we're not setting any world records here by any means, but we do get through stages 1 through 3 with full stars, and then as soon as I get through the RNG fest here, we're going to be good to go on that front as well, obviously. So, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at how many materials I got. I can actually do a craft of rares now, so let's go ahead and do that, see if we get anything good. We get an epic, we get a golden elixir. You would not believe how many golden elixirs I have on my account. It's crazy. Let's go ahead and look at recently used first. So this is the build on Nethril. He is in Toxic set. Build on Fabian. He's my PvP build, so he's pretty crazy. Mushelette, nothing too special here. Not even crit cap. Not really built for damage. Seeker. This is what we got going on. Again, decently, you know, decent damage dealing. If you actually put boots on Gorgorab, that would help a lot, and if you put a banner on Husk, that would help a lot as well. Feel free to pause this at any time and just take a look at the stats. There's only a couple of these champions that are really going to have, like, truly insane stats, and I mean, realistically, you can just bring better champions, essentially. I don't think I've used any incredibly amazing champions throughout this playthrough. So that being said, that is stages 1 through 3 for both the Demonspawn as well as the Undead Hordes. So make sure to go ahead, once again, like the video if you liked it, if you enjoyed it, if it was helpful. Let me know down in the comments, of course, thoughts on the mythical, and if this video was helpful. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.